my band, sportbiketrackgear.com, and today we're going to install Hotbodies Racing Rear Hugger on our 2015 Team M4 sportbiketrackgear.com Suzuki GSX-R600 project giveaway bike. End of the day, pretty easy install. This is really going to complement what we've already done here with that sweet Hotbodies undertail on this motorcycle. So focusing on this rear hugger now, what do we need to do to install that? First thing that has to happen is we need to be able to get the rear tire off. There are two fasteners for this hugger that are basically on the inside of the swing arm, okay? You're not going to be able to reach those with the tire in place. So we're going to start off by getting the rear of the bike up in the air with our pit bull stand. We're going to use our Super Cash Money Pit Bull Pit Crew tire wedge. This really helps with wheel changes. Snap it in place, only works on a pit bull stand. We're going to raise it up until we make contact with the bottom of the tire. Love this thing. 1/2-inch ratchet. Break loose that axle nut. While we have this off, we're also going to go ahead and delete that stock plastic chain guard. That thing's definitely not doing us any aesthetic favors, so we're going to get rid of that while we are in there. Your axle block, your nut. Push the axle through. Out it comes. Slide the caliper out. And then get our chain off. Our sprocket. Rear wheel is now off the motorcycle. Okay. You can see those two fasteners I was talking about there. Okay, we're going to start by removing a stock rear chain guard. Got two 10mm fasteners here. Just get those out of the way. It'll clean up the look here on the back of the motorcycle. And then we'll get in here and handle fasteners for stock rear hugger. This is a really easy project at the end of the day. It's really going to make this motorcycle look, in my mind, a million times better. Push pin right here. Okay, stock chain guard removed. Next up, hugger. We will reuse these two fasteners. Hotbodies did supply another fastener with a spacer. I believe that's going to be for the center mounting bolt. A little bit of Loctite on these from the factory. If you want to use some thread locker on this, when you install the new one, you could do so. Got one more here. Definitely want to be careful here, don't want to scratch that new undertail. You can clearly see there's no way you're getting those out of there with that rear tire in place, okay? especially with the Loctite that was used on them. Okay, out comes that stock fastener. The last thing that we have is one of the clips for the rear brake hose that is attached on this side here. Looking at the new hugger, I do not believe we'll be reusing that, so we will remove that from the motorcycle. Let's go ahead and mock up our new hugger. See how this is going to fit. Okay. Like so, and we're going to use the spacer provided. And the new bolt up front here. This is all included with the hugger. I'm going to start by putting this fastener in. Got that one started. We'll go back to our 2 factory bolts here. Okay, I'm going to come up front here, we'll snug this one down first. This is really going to dial in the look of this bike quite a bit. This is a painted surface now, so you're going to want to be careful to not have a lot of contact with the tools that you're using, as it will scratch it or possibly chip paint. Snug that one. That is not a shouldered bolt like the 2 that are supplied here from the factory on the side, so be careful when you snug that. There's no reason to really reef that down. Now these 2, make sure the shoulder of the bolt passes through the hole in the hugger. Like so. Snug that one up. Same deal here on this other side. You want to make sure that you get the hole that is in the hugger lined up with the shoulder that is on that fastener. And run that down. Okay, hugger is now in place. Rear wheel installation. I like to kind of drape the chain over the side of the swing arm, like so. Let's grab our wheel, roll it up into place. Chain back over that rear wheel. Going to grab our caliper here and make sure that that slides in the groove, right? There's a locating tab on the caliper hanger. It's got to slide into the groove on the swing arm. Okay, very important that happens. Slide our axle through. I can't tell you what a difference this pit crew tire wedge makes. tire service. It is one of my favorite tools. I've had this thing for about a week and absolutely love it. You can find those on the website as well. It makes tire and wheel service so simple. I'll show you a little trick that I like to use here. When I reinstall the rear wheel, first thing I have to do now is release the pressure. I need to be able to spin the wheel. I like to take a wrench, wedge it in between the sprocket and the chain. It's going to put pressure from the axle blocks against the chain adjusters, make sure that our chain is in line and that we have some tension on those chain adjusters. If you don't, it is possible those could work themselves loose, allowing the axle to migrate around, coming loose, chain possibly jumping off, and it just creates a whole disaster. So when I put my rear wheels on, I like to jam that wrench in there, hold it in place while I snug up the rear axle, like so. If you're not comfortable with torquing these by hand, you want a torque wrench, Google your torque specs, readily available for this motorcycle, and you'll be good to go. There you have it. There is our rear hugger install on our 2015 Suzuki GSX-R600 Team M4 SportBikeTracker.com STG project.